Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day. So I should say hello from Hong Kong, since that's where I'm dialing in from, and my wonderful colleague Nurul is dialing in now from Malaysia. So currently, you're going to see us in the world's most lucid state, since it is currently 2 a.m. for both of us here.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we have a high degree of coherency. Before we dive on into the Miro board itself, you'll see that there's a giant QR code behind my floating transparent head. It's just a quick little Mentimeter self-assessment. If you're feeling ambitious or just want to have a little bit of fun, please scan that and do the little survey there, just because I'm curious how you are doing today and how the conference has been so far. But yeah, let me dive on into world's briefest introduction. This is exploring a state of play, visible rethinking, which is what we're playing with here today. My name is Joshua. I am originally from Hawaii, outside the US now for a good 22 years, quite some time, based in Hong Kong. My colleague Nurul, and Nurul's going to just give a quick hi. Nurul will give a proper introduction when we get to her awesome section in just a little bit, but quick hi from Nurul.
Hello, everybody. I'm here, Nurul.
So world's quickest hi from Nurul. I promise Nurul's got a bunch of stuff to say in a moment, but we're divvying up our 50 minutes very, very judiciously to make sure that we cover it all. So yeah, I'm originally from Hawaii, based outside the US now for a good 20 years, doing this all over the place. Currently based in Hong, but let's see, last year doing this kind of stuff in 35 plus countries virtually, doing this 25 face-to-face, mostly working with Fortune 100s, but also a lot of nonprofits. And really what I'm interested in is how can we get audiences having deeper conversations? How can we actually get them rethinking? So before we dive on into the Miro board, I thought it'd be actually helpful for you to get a little sense of how Nurul and myself are approaching rethinking and why we think this is something that really matters so much for a lot of the clients that we're working with. I'm going to be covering it more at an organizational level. Nurul's going to be zooming on into some of the more personal coaching level type stuff. But in both cases, it's all about taking this moment to step back and rethink. Now, I know you're wondering, when are we going to the Miro board? Give us 5 minutes of TEDx, TED Talk contexting, and we're going to get there because we got a lot to play with today. So very brief context, why rethinking matters. The simple answer is that there's limits to linear thinking. Like, what used to work within the workplace 20, 30 years ago, very programmatic, very step-by-step type stuff, we're finding increasingly is just not so good anymore. Now, I know VUCA is to some degree an overplayed out acronym, and there have been a bunch of other acronyms proposed on top of them, but I still am a big fan of it. This idea that it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, that basically the work environment we're working in these days is a little bit on the challenging side. So I'm kind of curious, from your perspective, how challenging is your work environment? Now, at the beginning, and if you just came in now, don't worry, I did actually have a QR code up on the screen where I was asking how you were doing. It was using the incredibly scientific assessment of the Nicolas Cage assessment of that. So of the people we've got so far, we had 13 people respond. A few of you are feeling Bs already. Thank you. Good to know there. Focus, stressed, sorry to hear that. Excited, carefree, happy, and relaxed. Fantastico, good. But my real question that I want to know is, for your environment, how VUCA has your work been? Now, again, you can just scan this QR code really quick, give me a little answer there, but I am kind of curious how volatile, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous has your work been? If you could scan that real quick, I'm kind of curious for you, because for a lot of our clients, they're saying that, yeah, it is. It's quite a bit. So you got 4 possible answers. Not at all, somewhat, a little, or a lot. You got a whole bunch of possible answers there. And let's see what we come on in at. And we're coming in at, drum roll, going to the dramatic results now that you've had enough time to do that. Coming in at somewhat, a lot, and just a very few people a little. No one's going in for not at all. So yeah, it's a slightly interesting environment that we're working on in here, this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. And what we're trying to use Miro here for is to transform this into, and I need to apologize in advance. My wonderful colleague Isman Tanuri shared this with me. So I'm going to blame this cheesy acronym shift on him. We're going from volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, and Isman, this is all your fault, to vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. And if you groaned with the cheesiness of that, you're not alone, but it is actually true. We're trying to get people to rethink so that in more chaotic work environments, they have a sense of being able to actually adjust, adapt, and move forward in a way that helps to restore a bit of work-life balance, but also helps to give them a sense of possibility of where to go next. Now, a lot of us became experts of doing this in 2020. We became very much rethinking experts. We were forced to become ones. But the question is, have we maintained that ability to be able to rethink going forward? And a lot of times that doesn't happen. Quick example of this, this right here, beautiful photocopier, invented by Xerox in 1953. And in 1953, they went out to a marketing firm, asked, hey, should we sell photocopiers? Marketing firm went out, did some research, came back to Xerox and said, no, don't sell photocopiers. No one wants to buy those. Did Xerox listen? Thankfully not. And within about 10 years, they've made over $1 billion in profit. Not bad. Now, I want to contrast that with this. This right here is the PC. In fact, it is the first PC. It is the Alto system, first personal computer, first handheld mouse, first word processing system for non-experts. And when I'm doing this in workshops, I will ask people who invented this. Now, by the way, there is that chat. Feel free to the chat Q&A thing. If you want to toss some the ideas in there, you're welcome to. We can actually see that going on in the background like a Twitch stream. I'm kind of curious, who do you think invented this without Googling it? And I do toss that out. The most common answers we usually get coming on in, are Microsoft, HP, Apple, things like that. And these are all great answers, but all of them are a little bit off. Because this was, and some of you know, actually invented by Xerox. So the question is, why don't we all have Xerox computers? Because in the 1970s, when they put this out there, they once again did some marketing research, went out, came back. Do we actually want to sell these? And marketing research said, yeah, no, nobody wants to buy those. Now, I know you might be thinking the takeaway of this rethinking workshop is don't listening to marketing research. That's not the takeaway. The takeaway is actually that, unfortunately, Xerox this time listened. And even though they had trusted their gut before, their innovation, their ability to rethink before, they become so comfortable on what they were doing with photocopiers, they were no longer willing to keep going for it and ended up falling behind. They're not alone in this. It happens a lot to companies. Not suggesting that your companies are going to get great out here, but just we have to have this continued need how to actually rethink. Oh, somebody's asking, how is my face in front of the presentation? Nurul and I are both using different versions of an app called And no, I know it sounds like I'm just making a noise with my mouth, but that is actually the name of the app. There are other ways to do this that are built into like WebEx, Zoom, etc., but that's the easy way that we do it. For us, plus Miro is our killer combination for having a lot of fun with this. But basically, in terms of rethinking, the big thing we're talking about is not about getting rid of what we're doing well at companies or in our lives. This is not about getting rid of everything you've done. It's really about balancing, as John Cotter says, discovery and delivery. Being able to do what we do well, but being able to step back and actually rethink a bit. The challenge of doing that is a lot of times we get stuck. Adam Grant's got a whole book on this called Think Again, which, by the way, first 3 chapters are excellent. Next 8 or 9 chapters are a bit of padding, but the first 3 chapters, absolutely brilliant, based on some original research from Princeton on intellectual humility. But the basic core concept is this: how can we deal with these? Now, quick question that I would ask to my audience is this door, is it functioning as a door anymore? Nurul, is this a functioning door anymore? Is it serving the door purpose anymore?
No, not really.
Yeah, and thank you. That's the answer we want. Nurul's very, every once in a while people get way too clever. They're like, well, Joshua, maybe it's a door for the flowers, et cetera, or for, if there's a big storm. And no, it's not. This is very much a non-functioning door, and there's a technical term for this. Called a Thomason. And this was actually invented by architects in the 1980s, the term Thomason. And it was actually invented by architects in Japan. People tend to guess Netherlands, Nordic countries, actually invented in Japan because they named it after an American baseball player. So in the 1970s, there was this American baseball player. He was great. Then he went to play in the Japan leagues, 1981, and he was terrible, absolutely terrible, sat on the bench getting money, but doing nothing. So when Japanese architects decided, what should we name a feature on a building that used to have a purpose is still being maintained, but no longer really serves a function, we're going to name it after Thomason. Poor Thomason. But the thing that we're really trying to do here is to get organizations to consider, what are their Thomasons? Not literally their people named Thomason, but what are the things they've got that that really they need to rethink. So this is where Miro comes in to actually be a powerful tool. And this is where I'm going to ask you all to go to our lovely board. So if we're going to go to our board here real quick, pull it on up in my background. Yoink. So we should have all of you on the board. And if you've clicked on the board, oh, we got 29, 30 of you on the board. You're seeing the very dramatic thing that says hidden for now. I promise we're about to unhide that. So that way we can get people rethinking. The way we can actually getting them to do it in a safe space is by a series of little programmatic things. It starts with really, really simple things, getting them to look at their Thomasons. But how do we get people to feel that they've got this permission to fail to be able to do it well? Well, the first step we actually do is we actually want to encourage people to grab a tool, any tool, and make a mess. A lot of times, especially from a technology perspective, people get a little bit scared of things. So I actually want to encourage you on this space that I got right behind me here, make a mess. Grab a tool, any tool you'd like. You got all the tools there. I'm going to turn on the creation tool, so you got the maximum possible range. And I just want to encourage you to draw, make a mess, do whatever you would like. Use anything you want, put sticky notes, put your name up there. It's a graffiti wall. Just exactly. Hey, Rachel, good to see you on there. Now, note, if I wanted to create pure psychological safety here, I could also, in my little tool thing here, move this into private mode, click on that, and then based on the views, I could actually make the names anonymous so we don't even see you doing this. In this case, we got a really friendly group here at Miro, so we're just going to leave it as is. But, it's one of those things where I can even add in Miro an extra level of that psychological safety by making this anonymous. Oh, that's beautiful. I want to see a mess, like an absolute mess. And the reason why we like to start with a mess is because it makes the tool more approachable. It makes it something where people don't have this need to feel like they're perfect. So beyond that, to try to create that psychological safety and get people into this place where we're trying to get them rethinking, the next thing that we actually do, and I'm so sorry, we're moving to a new tool. The next thing that we actually do is that we actually like to unhide my slide. Yoink. Oh my goodness, we've gone all over with that. That's hilariously funny. And this is actually the other thing that we actually do is we use something called, it's based on the research I can actually zoom on into here, the experimental generation of interpersonal closeness. By the way, there was a really cheesy New York Times article written on this called 36 questions to fall in love. But basically we have people in groups just going simply through question cards. Now, in an ideal world, we'd have you actually doing this in a breakout right now, but I'm just going to try this with Nurul really quick. I would just pull a question from the question pile. And of course, one of my favorite facilitators, Daniel Stillman, says, if you don't give people a way out, it's impossible for them to be all in. So you got to give people permission to pass on any of these questions, but then just going back and forth, they're just really quickly going through and they're answering these questions together. So I would say, for example, to Nurul, Nurul, what would you do if you won the lottery? Now, again, Nurul's got permission to pass on that question, but Nurul, what would you do if you won the lottery?
I'm going to use the money to buy a lot of stuff for me and buy a lot of stuff for other people as well. But me first and others later.
Fantastic. And then Nurul will be able to draw a question from here, just pass on back. By the way, feel free, play with the decks. You're welcome to just draw cards from it. And so it's just a series of question cards that are just using these sticky notes. I know, super simple, but it's designed to get more and more into deeper and deeper conversations. And through the ability for having that permission to pass and the ability to scaffold off of this, it really begins to create a little bit deeper dialogue. Hey, yeah, there we are. Thank you. Yeah, feel free, move around, play with them. Thank you, Johan. Feel free, play with them, touch everything on the board. We encourage that. So beyond that, getting people into the space of rethinking. Step one, step two, we get them willing to make a mess, given that permission not to make it perfect. Can you still do the make a mess with your board locked? Good question from the chat. So depends on what you mean by locked. If it's fully locked, meaning it's just a display board where it's just designed to be visuals where no one else can touch it, no. So if I do have to give my teams access to the tool, but my board is, fingers crossed I haven't done it wrong, fully locked all the elements that I don't want you playing with. Anything that's unlocked, anything in the tools that are unlocked, I'm encouraging you to actually play with there. And you can see that happening behind me. So it's a lot of fun. So psychological safety, what we're doing, step 1, make a mess. Step 2, create that scaffolded dialogue. So we're getting deeper and deeper. Step 3 is we actually start looking at our challenges. I actually loved a concept from the Board of Innovation, which sounds like a very serious title, but it's a great group that looks at innovation. And they said that if we're beginning to look and rethink the future, our goal is not actually to be perfect or to predict the future. It's just to ask better what if questions. So one of my favorite actual tools for this is to get people to use Pestle. And I know many of you are familiar with Pestle, no need to reinvent the wheel. It's really just simply to look at in the next couple of years in a particular topic. So for us, our topic, we're doing work level topic. How can we make our workplaces, how can we make ourselves employers of choice? So we're going to go full on, how might we? How might we make our workplaces places where everyone wants to work? Okay, so making ourselves an employer of choice, that's our how might we question. And then we're looking in the next couple of years, politically, economically, sociologically, technologically, legally, environmentally, what might be some of the what if things on the positive or negative that could actually impact that? Positive things like, for example, economically, what if for employer of choice, we can suddenly offer employees massive signing bonuses, things like that. You know, what if, let's see, environmentally, for example, on a positive note, we become a certified B Corp, which we are, yay. We become very, very ESG friendly, and that draws in a whole new group of people, that kind of thing. On the flip side, negative side, you could do legally, you know, what if hiring restrictions mean that, you know, we have to go through 10 years of background checks before we can onboard people. These would be positive and negative what ifs. And what we actually just want people to do around that is just to brainstorm. And so we've got our nice little board here. Feel free to just zoom on into a sticky note. And I'd like you to take your little brain and, well, it's not a little brain, big brain here, and predict into the future. Predict into the future. Oh, somebody asked, do these question cards exist on the board in the Miroverse? There are in the Miroverse a number of places that have various versions of question cards. The particular set I was going from, it's based somewhat on that, that research article that is pinned on the board. And some of the questions are honestly just off a series of various goofy icebreaker question lists, because I just felt like tossing them in there. But some of them are actually coming from like the official research study list as well. So I blended them together, but good question. Thank you. By the way, if you ever see me answering questions, it's stuff that's coming in the chat that we're getting. So we do try to answer those in thread. So I'd love you to predict in the future, what do you think politically, economically, socially, technologically, legally, environmentally could happen? What are some of the what ifs, either pro and con, that might actually impact where we're going next? So if we're talking about rethinking, it's good to get out of the present moment, out of the past moment, and to project to the future. If you're feeling a bit stuck still, you are welcome to zoom on in and use our spinner, which we'll choose for you which way we're going to go. Spin that wheel, and you can actually, it'll tell you which one you got to predict on. I need to predict on, oh, please don't tell me it's politically. I got to predict on politically. I'm going to pass on that one and give myself permission to spin again and go to something else. So you get the idea here is that we're able to actually get them predicting to the future. The next step on this, if we were to take it to the next level, is once we've got people coming up with some of these predictions. So like, for example, what if AI is a part of everything? Environmental, environmental is a popular category down here. What if we reward sustainability? What if climate change affects people's working hours, that kind of stuff? What if more species extinction? Oh, that's sad. Actually, there was an article, they added 21 new extinct species just yesterday in the US. Oh, yay. So that's a variable what if. So what we'd actually have them do with the what ifs is to really rank them between what is most likely to happen and what is least likely to happen. Okay. So thinking about those possible futures, those possible things going on there. Thank you for whoever did the heart. That is super awesome. And economic, new cities, rising rents, all that kind of fun jazz. No relative poverty. That's awesome. 15-minute walkable. I am enjoying a lot of these what ifs going on here. So once we've got people to really look outside of their present moment, to get out of this lock stuck state or the immediate future, thinking about the likelihood of various what ifs, the next thing we actually do in terms of the rethinking is actually ask them to problem solve on this. But we don't want to start on the good side. We actually want to start with how could we possibly break this entirely? Now, as a note, this is actually coming from Liberating Structures, one of the methodologies from here. So again, our big how might we question is how might we make ourselves an employer of choice, make it so everybody wants to work with us? Instead, let's go to the opposite what if. How can we absolutely make sure that we fail at this miserably in the next 6 months, completely tank our company, destroy it, break it into a billion pieces? What would be the absolute worst things that we could do in terms of actually making this go forward? Now, I know this might sound a little bit strange, but by getting people to think about the worst possibilities that could happen, you would be amazed at how much people's faces light up. I was doing this with a senior leadership forum where they were actually doing a giant change management initiative. And in their organization, by the way, while I'm talking, please feel free to add a bunch of what ifs. If you wanted to absolutely destroy the onboarding process, making us an employer of choice, what would be the worst things that we could do? Feel free to add your worsts anywhere on here. I think we might have enough sticky notes. We might have a few more than enough, but it looks pretty. So just have fun with it. So I was doing this with an organization, and with this organization, they were doing a change management initiative. And actually all the steps that we've gone through, we actually took them through that. Because again, you go into a bunch of senior executives and you go, oh, okay, let's change. And a lot of people go, oh yeah, I like change. But then you go, okay, so what do you want to change? They go, oh, no, not me. I think everybody else should change. So we start with that idea of Thomason's, start by looking into the future, some of the what ifs that might happen here, but then looking at if we wanted to destroy this company in the next 6 months, what would be the worst things we do? And then after this, and again, this is coming from Liberating Structures. And if you're curious about the exact tools that I'm talking about here, they are all on the resource section of the board. I'll show you in just a bit. After you've gotten the brainstorm, all the terrible things we could do, and I see a lot of terrible things coming up here. No sick days. We only use Miro. How dare you? By the way, I actually do have a Miro account because one of my clients only uses Miro. How dare they? I know. I'm trying to convert them. Although I was happy when Google said they're getting rid of Jamboard, that of the 3 things listed, Miro was one of them and Mural was not. I'm so sorry. I love Mural. It's a lovely tool as well, but yay, Miro. So sorry. Carrier pigeons, that would be, I think it might actually be a good idea. So we look at all these terrible things we're doing. And the next step is to actually come on in here and to think, which of these to some degree are we actually doing in our company? And this is usually where our client's jaw does the full-on drop, where they go, oh, so all those terrible things that we said are going to destroy the company, yeah, to some extent, we might actually be doing some of these things. Now, again, this is not a structure that I invented by any means. It's in Liberating Structures. It's linked to over there. But on a Miro board, it really gives this nice psychological freedom. Because again, I can move this into private mode where everything that you're actually putting up there is anonymous if we wanted. Although right now I haven't turned that on because it's kind of fun. And it just gives them that permission to really look at what could go wrong and then recognizing that some of those things are actually things we're doing. By the way, somebody did ask me about that spinning wheel I did. Although there is a spinning wheel add-on tool for Miro, which is awesome, just to make it so that everybody could use it, I just actually I embedded a wheel of names spinning tool, which is a really simple spinning tool. And I just used the iframe embed code. So I just went to iframe generator, found the little spinning wheel I wanted, stuck it on in there, and then just used the embed tool on the board to put it on there. All right, so we got a bunch of bad things. And what I would do next is I would actually have people go around and I'd actually have them vote on what they think were the things that our company was actually doing. We're going to skip that voting phase here today because all of us are coming from very different organizations. But imagine we were all at the same org. You would actually have a few minutes to go through, use those sticky notes, do the beautiful sticky note voting, and you would be surprised. We would see a couple of things popping up to the surface that everybody in the group actually was recognizing we were to some extent doing. So where do we go from there? Well, the last step in terms of my process would be us thinking of those things that we're doing that are not working, how can we begin to just get slowly started in terms of fixing them? These things that are broken, that are going to really impact our future, how can we actually make them just a little bit better? And really, my favorite way of actually looking at this comes from James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. He said, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. A lot of times when organizations are talking about rethinking, talking about doing something better, they're very much at this high concept goal level. And that goal level is great from a motivational perspective. But as James Clear points out, it's ultimately built on these tiny, tiny, tiny little 1% changes. This idea of these little tiny things that we do to become better over time. If I want to learn Spanish by next year, learning 2 or 3 words a day might not seem like much, but by the end of the year, it's really quite added up in quite some time. So what we actually ask them to do is to look at, if you look at those things that are broken from the last thing, what might be the smallest possible steps we could take to begin fixing on it? And so we start at the highest level, have them do some stuff there, break that down into even smaller steps, into even smaller steps, and into even smaller steps. If you're feeling ambitious, feel free to make a few. Thinking about those problems we created in the last section, if you can think of any tiny little steps, the tiniest little steps that we can do to begin moving in the right direction, that would be what we're looking at. So for example, if I wanted to get in shape and get my step count in, I could set that ambitious big 10,000 step goal, or I could say that, hey, if I'm getting, like food delivery here in Hong Kong, and it's within like a 5-block radius, rather than having the delivery option, I'll go for the pickup option. That's a tiny little step that's going to begin getting me a couple more steps each day, even though it's not the be all and end all. So just to kind of recap on this, what we're trying to do here is this. Now, quick question. Would you like to live in this apartment? Now, before you say no, let me show you the outside, because it's very impressive outside. It's called the Reversible Destiny Lofts. It's actually in Japan, by the way. And I asked this to clients, would they like to live there? Yes, no, or maybe if it was free. You'd be surprised how many hands go up for maybe if it was free. And this right here, after they voted on it, we asked them, what's the purpose of this? Who was it built for? They give ideas, kids, cats, artists, students, etc. But this was actually built to be a retirement home. It was built for the elderly, because research by Japanese researchers was that cognitive decline in more traditional retirement homes was faster than if you put people into a very interesting and unique environment. Or as Lenny Scott Weber says, if a space doesn't give us permission to change, then it's too easy to revert back to what we know. Through these different steps on the Miro board, giving people this idea of this permission to make a mess, and thank you, I'm so impressed by our artistry here. Diving on into psychological safety with some of the questions, getting people to consider what the future might look like, getting them to break everything, and then slowly begin to do the smallest pieces of remaking it. It helps us to move forward in a very positive way. By the way, all the tools that I've looked at today, including if you want to look at some more Thomasons, it is all here on the board. And with that, moving from the organizational level, I'm going to hand it over to Nurul, who's going to be sharing how you can actually begin doing rethinking at a personal level.
Thank you so much, Joshua. It was amazing learning. I'm always learning from Joshua, and yes, tonight's proof it again. All right, so everybody, my name is Fatia. I'm going to bring everyone to my profile. Hang on, give me a second. Okay. Okay, Joshua, you need to stop presenting. So
oh yeah, I should stop presenting. Sorry about that. My bad. Yep.
Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna bring everyone to me. So just to get everybody familiar with me, I'm Fatia. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm a learning experience designer and also a transition coach. And these are some of the bots that I have created in Miro. One of it, I think 2 years back, I did a Miro Zing race, and I'm looking forward to upload the Miro Zing race on the Miroverse soon, because it's not there yet. But one thing that is on the Miroverse is the Popping Hello bot that I designed to help you onboard your participants to Miro. Every day there's always one new user, and in your session you can actually use my bot to onboard these people and get familiar with Miro very, very quick. Okay, and the rest I also have the, you can look at this later because I'm more excited to actually bring you to rethinking yourself in a different way. Okay. And also there's a link to my Instagram and LinkedIn, so feel free to connect. All right. Now in my session, we are going to rethink in a different realm. You know, we are going from the present time into the past, and how can we also rethink and move forward to the future. So this is going to be highly interactive, and we have a lot of us. I have space for everybody to actually rethink for themselves. Okay, now I'm going to bring everybody to the present view. Okay, present view. I believe I have enough board for everybody, so I'm going to bring everybody to me right now. Bring everyone to me. Yep. So you're supposed to be on the present view, and I would love to invite everybody to actually book your own window. You can have your own space. These are all windows behind me. So just zoom. Okay, I'm just going to zoom and take one space for me. So the way to know that that is your space, just move the start button. Just move the start button and quickly take a sticky notes and put your name on it so that people know, hey, this is Nurul's board or Joshua's board or whoever board. So go ahead and do it now. Just zoom in on the Miro board. Just take any space of this colorful window, move the start sticker and write your name on it. Okay, make sure you remove the right sticker, move the start sticker. You can actually delete it, put it to the side, whatever you want, as long as you book your board. And if you do not have a board, let me see if I could expand present view so that everybody have a space. I think right now we still have a lot of window. Go ahead. Now, once you have booked your space, let's do the first activity, which is to build your avatar. Okay, so icon finder. Just click icon finder on the on your menu bar. If you're new to Miro and you don't see an icon finder icon is actually an eye in a pyramid or in a triangle. If you don't see the, click the plus button to add more apps. Just look for icon finder. Okay, so build your avatar on top of the visual there. And just use icon finder to create your avatar. And I really want you to go crazy, right? When we want to rethink, we have to be able to reimagine. So do something different. Use whatever that is odd from the icon finder to build your avatar. Okay, let me just create mine. Okay, just for an example, let's say I'm just gonna use the bell. Why not? Where's the bell? Okay, and just put it here, maybe. Yep. Okay, and then choose one more avatar. Okay, not just whatever. Make something different, something unusual. Use whatever unusual that you see on the icon finder. You know, something that looks strange. The stranger it is, the better. Because we want to rethink, we want to reimagine. So get out of normal. Okay, I don't know what is this. I'm just gonna put it there on my space. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna give you another 30 seconds to just build your avatar. Nice. I see a lot of cute, nice, weird avatar already started to come in. Nice. If you couldn't find it, just find another icon, because icon tend to be small, so it may get elsewhere. All right, I can still see available window. So if you're new here, just look for a window without anyone's name on it. Put your own sticky note so that you can say that, hey, this is my area. I actually see a lot of people on the board right now. So maybe what I can do is to open more land so people can have more space. Yep. I just open out more window just in case we have more people. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Okay. All right, time is up. I'm going to move on to the next activity where this time around we are going to the past. Okay, go to your window and put aside the cat sticker. You can make it smaller. You can delete it. You can put it aside, but whatever it is, just move the cat sticker. Now, below the cat sticker, there is an instruction. Click the arrow to go to past time. So click the arrow and come to the past time. Okay. Now, on the past time, this is the past, right? This could be your living room. This could be your space from the past. Okay. What I want you to do is to choose any of the blue item, click on it, copy it, and bring it to present view. Okay, copy it. If you use Mac, use Command C. If you use Windows, click Control C. Copy any item from the past that resonates the most with you. Anything at all. All right. Just copy it and then go back to present view and paste it on the cat, where the cat was. Just paste it there. Okay. If you can lock it. If you can't, just leave it, let it be. All right. So let's come to past time. I'm gonna, just copy any of the blue item, copy it, okay, and bring it over to present view. You can move yourself, or you can click the link and go back to present view. Okay, I see some of you already have the blue item. If you don't have it already, go ahead and get it. I'm gonna give you another 30 seconds to do so until I see most of you already have the blue thing. Okay, looks good. Okay, I'm gonna move on in the interest of time. All right, after you have
You're good on time, Nurul. No worries. You got 14 minutes. You're all good on time. You got 14. Go into that meditation space. You're good. You're good. It's awesome. You're doing great.
Yeah, I probably need to slow down a bit so everybody can follow. Okay. Once you have pasted the item from the past on your window, move the pencil sticker. Again, you can resize it. You can put it aside. You can delete it, whatever that suits you. Now, the question for you is, okay, should the item reflect a past victory? Okay, should the item that you carry from the past reflect past victory? What was it? List the strength it gave you. So rethink, look at the item again in a different light. If this item reflect a past victory, what was it? So, and list the strength it gave you. So use a sticky notes, put it on the window, okay? And write down what was the victory, and then think about what was the strength it gave you. So I choose a spectacle for some reason. If these reflect a past victory, what will be? Let me think. I did join a consulting team. It teaches me patience. Patience, it teaches me patience. Any consultant will relate to me. It's all about patience. It's also teach me to be to persevere. Yeah. So this is me. How about the rest? Persevere. I hope I spelled it correctly. So go ahead, guys. I'm gonna give you 1 minute to reflect on the item. I like this. My kid puts their dirty clothes in the laundry bucket. It gives me the strength of having. I like that. Go ahead and write. I really want to know what are the strength that your past victory had gave you based on the item that you have placed. You know, look at it differently. Look at it over and over again. Think about victory and think about the strength that it gave you. I really love all the avatars, Joshua. This is really beyond my expectation. It's super, super awesome. We have super abnormal people at this hour. Already rethinking how they see their avatars and rethinking how they see their past, which is awesome. Super, super awesome. Good. Okay, I can see that most of you have done the reflection. Great. So I'm going to move on to the next activity. This time we are going to move the lock. Move the lock, put it aside. And this is a time where we come back to the present. Now, in the present time, think about what is something you currently feel stuck on. Again, use the sticky notes. Put it on the window. think about something that you currently feel stuck on. This could be something at work. This could be something at home, your personal life. This could be in your business, some of your business owners. What are the things that you currently feel stuck on? For me, it's, starting a new venture. Have something in mind right now, Joshua, and it's something that I currently feel stuck on because there's so many limitations. So for all of you, I would love you to write down, okay, something that you feel stuck on, anything that is safe for you to share on this space where we have around 70 plus people. Cool. A lot of you have started writing.
I'm just distracted by Cocktail Cat.
My God, this looks so chill.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I know, right?
Good choice, Melissa. I agree with you. Some beautiful avatars going on. This is awesome.
Yeah, I just love it. I'm gonna marvel at it after this, before I go to sleep. Okay. You've put your challenges where you're stuck on. Awesome. It's time to move to the eyes. What is that? Okay, before you go to the eyes, right? What I want you to do is, this is a part where we are going to use pen and we are going to go around the board. What we want to do is, everybody get ready with the pen tool. First thing to do is click any of the pen, and I want you to move the thickness to low thickness. Okay, the idea is I don't want people to have a very thick pen and it gets disturb the balance that we have right now. So move it to the minimum and choose whatever color you want. What you're gonna do next is to visit other people's window, read what are the things that they feel stuck on, and leave one stroke to other people item from the past. And hopefully this stroke will actually help people to get unstuck. All right, so go to as many windows as you can, read their challenges, what are these get unstuck on, and start drawing a stroke to other people. So for example, I'm going to go to Erin's window. Okay, and Erin say, I've lost some of the passion for my job, so I'm going to put a one stroke to Erin's to encourage her to find a patient again. Okay, so for example, this is my stroke for Erin. It's one stroke. Can be an object. So go ahead and move to other people's window, read what they feel are stuck on. And if you were to leave them a message, instead of typing a message, leave a message in form of a stroke. And our mission is to make sure everyone have a stroke on their icon. So go ahead. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. And this time, I think let's do a pointer. Let's put a pointer to 3 minutes. No music. Let's just go around and read and leave a stroke to the people items of the past. Okay, let's do this, people. Gonna do it. So Joshua, let's do this. Let's do this and leave as many stroke to people. Claire, feel free to join us. Okay, make sure what we want is so everybody have a stroke on their item. No one should be left behind. Nice. People start drawing stroke. Awesome. Okay, if there is no sticky notes on the unstuck, never mind. You can just be nice and just leave one stroke. One stroke for everyone. I'm also leaving stroke to people. Different color, yeah. Different stroke. Nice. I can see that most of the item from the past have stroke right now. We have 1 minute, 30 seconds to go. The idea is to get everybody's item from the past have a stroke on it. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Some of you already have love strokes. Super, super good. Love it, love it. Okay, maybe I go to this side. Great, great, great. We have 44 seconds to go, people. Let's leave a stroke to everyone's item from the past. And maybe from that one stroke, we'll give them ideas on how to get unstuck. Okay, get ready to return to your window. Get ready to return to your window and be surprised with what people have done to your item from the past. Okay, now this is a time where you will move the eyes. Okay, move the eyes and just seeing the item in a new light. How might you get unstuck? Just get an inspiration from this new item with all the strokes that you have. Take a sticky notes and just, 30 seconds, write down how might you get unstuck with based on the items. So just look at it, rethink, reimagine, revisualize, take the ideas from it and see how you can get unstuck. As for me, there's a love near my spike. So my takeaway from this is whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to do it with lots of love. Yeah. Aishitaru, yeah, do it with lots of love. Thank you, thank you. So write it down. You have 30 seconds to write down to get inspired by the new item. Okay. People are starting to write, so I'm going to give them some times. I have a 5 minutes warning. Okay, so now in the final step, what you can do is
2-minute warning.
2 minutes running. Okay. What you're gonna do now is to then take the item from the past. You can group it together with other items. You can actually remove what you don't like. Take everything, copy everything, and this is where you can remove the sun and go to the present Futura. So in Futura, what you can do is paste your new item on any of the sketch and re-look at the new item again, the one that you have make adjustment. Okay, the one that you have make adjustment, and you can think about what will it be for the future for you, because now you have people giving you feedback based on your inspiration, give you inspiration, and at the end of the day, it's your choice how you want it to be. So make adjustment to your items, whatever you want. You can remove, you can add on, you can reorganize it in whatever you want, and then bring it to Futura, and then just think about how will it be in the future. I'm going to stay with the board in the board. For those of you who are still in, you can continue to do this activity. And this is the point I would like to say thank you. And I'm going to give it back to Joshua to close our session, because he needs to run and I will stay.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Nurul. This is absolutely beautiful. You got a lot more art than I did in my section. So ultimately, today we've been looking at rethinking and making it a lot more visible. I always love that. So there's a whole Harvard education thing on what we call like visible thinking. And so I find that Miro, when used well, allows us to create spaces for psychological safety that allows us to democratize participation, make our thinking a lot more visible, and gets us to just move a little bit outside of the way that we're currently looking at things, both on an organizational level, what I was looking at, and on an individual level, what Nurul was looking at. Ultimately, it comes down to this, and do feel free to vote what this is. 3 possibilities. This is either a early Dyson vacuum prototype, an air cleaner, or a hair cutting machine. 3 possibilities. Feel free to scan the code and vote. Although honestly, you should all just be making art on Nurul's board still. Now, I do see some people coming in and voting because I can see it in the background here. I see some people voting for the hair cutter, and I do appreciate those who voted for the hair cutter. You're after my own heart. This does kind of resemble the Flowbee, which George Clooney's using here, and probably ends up with hair looking like this. But ultimately, apologies, this is actually this, which is the air cleaner from the Apollo 13. Went up, not going to the moon anymore. It's got to get back to Earth safely, but the air is getting dirtier and dirtier. How do they fix it? They can't send up a new air cleaner. They've got to be creative with the constraints they've got to be able to work with what they've got to be able to move forward. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough to move to that next step. And a lot of what we're trying to do here is exactly that. People get this decision paralysis, this inability to think outside of where we are now. And the tiny little steps that we've taken together today are really designed to get us to be comfortable with being creative with the constraints we've got and move to that next step. Thank you, Nurul, for being awesome. Thank you, Claire, for all your help and support. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Please do take a look at the resources on the board. Nurul and I both have put a lot up there. Reach out to us, email, LinkedIn, etc. Download things, play with things, and see you all both in the Miroverse. Have a great night, everybody, and day.
Have a good day. Have a good night. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Hope you have fun on our bots. Yeah.